Hi, this is Jonathan Casey, head vocal instructor for Students to Stars Vocal Studio. I'm here today to tell you about how we rate talent. Rating talent is a very difficult thing to do, considering age and experience has a lot to do with where your skill level is at. I figured out a system that's very easy to understand, a little bit numbery, but I think it's a pretty solid system, and it ranks people very fairly. So the first thing that we should talk about is the tiers. There's 3 tiers of singing. There's beginner, intermediate, and then professional. Okay. Within those tiers, there's about 10 rating points, if you will, within each tier. So the first thing that we're going to look at is the very basic beginner. That's a beginner 1 to 5. These are the people who never sang before. They don't know who they are as a singer yet. They're trying to figure out their style. They basically are just starting from ground zero. The second spot we're going to see within the beginner tier is 6 to 10. Here you find the people who can carry a tune, maybe some younger guys who are in a garage band, maybe somebody who does musical theater, has had a couple one-liners, maybe a small part. People who have some basic talent but don't really wow anybody. The next tier that we have is intermediate. Now, the first thing that we do here at Students to Stars is you are not allowed into the intermediate bracket. No matter how good you are, you're not allowed in the intermediate bracket until you can read basic music, meaning, you could follow along a C scale or follow along at a melody line, things that are very elementary. And also, we require you to do ear training, which we're going to talk about in another video. So by the intermediate level, you'll have basic ear training, you'll be able to read basic theory, and intermediate 1 to 5 is where you start to find talented high school kids. Somebody who gets leads a lot in the musical theater shows, maybe somebody who's in a band and is a headliner for, a small 100-person show. That's kind of where most of the people coming in our studio are rated. They have basic talent, but they're very inconsistent. They can come in and have a great day one day, and then the next day, they're not doing so hot. So basically, at that level, we're trying to get you up to a point where you can be at the top of your game all the time. Now, the next part of that tier is where we get into more advanced students. That's intermediate 6 to 10. In this bracket, we find people who are professional giggers, the older guys in their 50s covering CCR tunes and making good money off of that, or kids who are competitive that want to go to college and lead themselves to a music career. Usually the 6 to 10, it's very difficult to get into that bracket here. We take that rating level very seriously. Now, the next level is the professional level. Professional 1 to 5 is saved for people. Let me say this first, is that we consider the professional level only for people that can make a living sustaining themselves on music alone. If you cannot do that, we cannot consider you a professional. But in that professional 1 to 5 bracket, that can be anyone from an indie artist who has a demo floating around right now to a teacher. I personally am a little hard on myself, I guess, and on my scale, I consider myself a professional level 3. I can sustain myself, teaching music. I'm in a couple bands, doing my thing. And I haven't taught anybody above myself yet. So most students at Students to Stars are in that intermediate tier, trying to get up into that first bracket, if you will, of the professional level tier. Now, on the second side of the professional level tier is 6 to 10. These are what I call the album artists, the multimillionaires who are pretty much set for the rest of their lives because of their music career. So now you can understand kind of how we rate people, and yes, your age can affect it, but basically it's made to just rank skill, where you are in comparison to everyone. Now, on top of that, I have a grading system where I use a lot of checks, check pluses, things like that, and they kind of get averaged out into a grade. When you study here, you'll understand that a little bit more. But the most important thing that I want people to know is, say I give you an A on the intermediate level. That's like an A plus at the beginner level because beginner's so much easier. But if you translate that up to the professional scale, it's kind of like a B minus now, considering the professional scale is much more difficult. Mistakes cost you more. You can't make as many. It's a tricky rating system, but if you come to study here, you'll understand it. But I want the people out there to know that if they submit a video and I start to describe where their level is, they can watch this video and understand where I'm rating them in comparison to most singers. Thanks for watching this video. Have a great day.